thousands of refugees fleeing from DRC Congo to Uganda through the Bunagana border. But this is all just because of the renewed fighting between the M23 rebels and the DRC government. And this is also coming at a time when we see counter accusations between Rwanda and the government of DRC. And this is why I'm here at the home of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, State for International Relations, Honorable Henry Okello. And let me understand whether Uganda is concerned when the neighbors are sneezing, and at least some people have already been killed because of this renewed fighting, and Uganda has to take care of these refugees. Honorable, is Uganda concerned now that we even have UPDF officers and, of course, doing some infrastructure projects in Eastern DRC Congo, and when you see the renewed fighting between our neighbors who are part of the EAC, are we concerned?
Of course, Mbide, we are extremely concerned. We are not only watching this matter closely, we also follow it closely, and we are making contacts between the members of the Eastern community at the presidential level to see how we can bring an amicable resolution, urgent resolution to this conflict. You must understand that any conflict or any problems in our neighbor has a direct impact, whether it be in security, whether it be any conflict of any nature, has a direct conflict on Uganda as a country. We have seen this happen in South Sudan. We are seeing this now happening in Eastern DRC, where thousands of refugees are coming into this country. So this particular conflict also, its immediate impact, we have seen refugees fleeing the country, but it might, and we are sure, it'll have some other security impact in future.
Couldn't this fighting, couldn't it have been avoided? Looking at the dynamics, geopolitics of the region, now that we are trying to integrate the region, couldn't it have been avoided?
It could be avoided. I think that any conflict or use of war as a weapon to resolve problems doesn't solve the problems. I think the first avenue or the first option that should be used is to engage, talk, or use mediators or use other mechanisms to resolve conflicts before the use of arms to solve any misunderstanding between two countries. Yes, so I think in this case they should have exploited other avenues. For example, the International Conference Great Lakes Region, which is there, the mediation by the Eastern Community leadership, which is all there, or even they could have called one particular leader in the region to come and help them resolve any conflict with them, rather than going to fighting.
We've seen Uganda and RDC, or Rwanda forces, democratic forces, fighting with the UPDF in Eastern Congo before. And now that we know that UPDF is in Congo, and now Congo is saying that, Rwanda sent these guys forces into its territory, wouldn't we see another recurrence of such past events?
No, I don't think Uganda, the UPDF, will get involved in this particular conflict or any conflict that might take place between the two countries or internally in any of those countries. Lessons were learned from the past, and we do not intend to be a party or in any conflict in the region. Why? First of all, our policy is not to interfere in the internal affairs of any country whatsoever, in particular in our region. We don't interfere in the internal affairs. Secondly, we only went to the DRC at the invitation of the government of the DRC under President Tshisekedi. And in so going, we also not consent, but we informed the members of the P5 or the Security Council to ensure that there was no objection from them before we went into the DRC. Therefore, if we were invited by the DRC to help them in their conflict, if that conflict is there with Rwanda, we cannot be party to it immediately. And there's no need for us to be party to it because we don't interfere in the internal affairs of other countries. And in any case, I don't think the P5, any members of the P5 or the P5 will entertain that kind of interference.
But Honorable, if you went to Congo with the invitation of President Tshisekedi, if he again says that, you know what, I'm facing an enemy and I need some extra force to help me out, and you already have the boots on the ground, what would stop you from at least giving a helping hand to a brother?
First of all, Rwanda is not an enemy to Uganda, and Rwanda will never be an enemy to Uganda. Secondly, as I said earlier, our method of work is to explore and exhaust all other peaceful means of resolution of a conflict before we actually get the use of arms. So even if they invited us, we'll go back first to basics and seek how we can help this matter, see this matter resolve, or help this matter be resolved amicably and peacefully without resolving to use of arms.
And now, what is the latest from the infrastructure developments that we have in Congo? I know UPDF got an extension in that side of Congo, trying to chase the ADF rebels, but of course also doing the infrastructure projects. What's the latest from there?
Well, we are progressing very well. We are progressing, and we are making. We are doing better than what we expected in both fronts. What is important is that we should separate the road construction and that of the UPDF operations against the negative forces in the DRC. The road work and construction into the DRC is a purely commercial activities to ensure that there is a market opportunity and cross-border trading between Uganda and DRC. We want our traders to be able to travel deep into Congo, to be able to transport their goods and services into Congo, and the Congolese to be able to access our goods from inside Congo rather than from coming into the border. So that's just a pure commercial activities to create trade between the two countries. The other, the conflict, the other one where the UPDF is in operations, it is doing very well. We have destroyed the structure and the backbone of the ADF. We have eliminated most of their leaders. There are still some of them running around in the bushes, but we want to be there to do a thorough job to ensure that we never have to deal with this ADF again. And ADF is put in the history of being a problem to Uganda.
Okay, finally, Honorable, Uganda has to cater for these refugees who are fleeing into the country. But of course, I know Uganda and Kenya have efforts of trying to ensure that there is peace within the region. What is going to be done to ensure that there is some semblance of at least peace in the region?
Well, you'll be aware that President Museveni and President Uhuru are paying attention to this matter and are making intervention in this matter, which is very important within the context of Eastern community. I have no doubt that Tanzania also, as a senior and a major player in the Eastern community, he's doing something, because none of us want conflicts. None of us want our citizens to be run across borders as refugees. However, we will deal with refugees who come to Uganda in the same method we've handled refugees in the past, with the history of handling refugees. But more importantly, we need to find a mechanism, or fast-track the mechanism of bringing peace and resolving this conflict between the two countries, in order for the wananchi from these two countries to go back home where they belong.
Thank you so much, Honorable Henry Okello-Oryem, the Minister of Foreign Affairs State for International Relations. Of course, he's been speaking about the issue of how Uganda is concerned about what's happening in DRC Congo. Stephen Mbide, handing you back to Regina in the studios.
Thank you so much, Stephen. The minister there has pointed it out that UPDF is in the DRC upon invitation, one, of course, for security reasons, but also to protect the trade and commerce that is going on between our